Welcome back to Crystal Clear! I'm Vox, and Steven Universe the movie is now available on DVD. But not Blu-ray, because Warner Media hates us. It may take money to make money, but they're not putting in that much money. Corporate bitterness aside, while this DVD isn't jam-packed with behind-the-scenes features, the ones they did include are pretty cool and provide a lot of insight to the making of the film. The making of the movie documentary, which if you guys kept up with the social media promotions for the film, you've definitely seen snippets of it, as moments of the documentary were seemingly repurposed for online promotional materials. We also have Rebecca Sugar pitching the entire third act of the film, which includes some deleted and alternate scenes, one of which we broke down last week, and animatics for 4 songs in the film: Happily Ever After, Other Friends, True Kinda Love, and Change, with commentary provided. So as we begin to unpack some of the additional knowledge that we gathered,
because like all pop culture YouTube channels, we must squeeze every penny out of our breadwinner until it's over.
I want to take another look at fan favorite gem Spinel, including the very early concepts of her design, the prominent influence of the heart shape throughout her character, and the ways her own storyline changed throughout the film. So with all that said, let's dive in. Now, the early concept art for Spinel wasn't really focused on in the documentary, rather something that simply makes a quick appearance. But from what we can see, wow, she definitely came a long way. Concepts of Spinel went all out with the heart motif. Instead of providing heart-shaped pigtails, some drafts of Spinel have an entirely heart-shaped head, with a later revision separating the head from the hair, creating an illusion that makes Spinel fit in with a lot of the homeworld gems that we actually saw in Together Alone, namely the multitude of jades. One of these drafts kind of give off the vibe of a court gesture, which isn't too far off from the initial impressions we got of Pink Diamond's design, all the way back when Jungle Moon and later a Single Pill Rose aired, but I think it would have been a little bit overkill for Pink Diamond's playmate, who was abandoned in space for thousands of years, to also look like the equivalent of Homeworld's clown. This draft also establishes that Spinel didn't originally have her gemstone on her chest, as here it's actually nowhere to be seen. And it was in later revisions, but still early on, that the crew realized Spinel would have a prominent heart-shaped gem, which I imagine they realized a heart-shaped gem and a heart-shaped head. It's a bit too much, heart, but I believe they found a pretty great compromise with her pigtails. Sure, now it's triple the heart, but that conveys so much more personality about Spinel, and her childlike wonder. Childlike wonder being the key thing that wasn't really emulated in this second revision. As we watch Steven Universe, it's only natural for us to assign mental ages to these characters, and that is largely in part to their character design. So I assume as the story of the film evolved, and thus the story of Spinel evolved, they realized her look had to reflect an old-timey cartoon character, a lost little girl who was just frozen in time, turned bitter and malicious against the world. Speaking of the movie and Spinel's story evolving, something else we learned through the documentary was that initially, Spinel's villainous form resurfacing wasn't initially saved for the end of the second act. But in earlier drafts of the film, Spinel kept alternating back and forth. I'm assuming due to the neglect she felt from Steven. And we can still feel remnants of this concept in the final version, such as when Steven and Spinel are in Little Homeworld, Steven embarking on a quest to find Amethyst, wanting to leave Spinel behind, and she snaps at him, her eyes evolving to her sinister form, of course reverting right back after Steven lets her tag along. Now initially she was going to switch back and forth between these forms by Steven constantly resetting her each and every time she achieved that reformation, which I imagine wouldn't have really sat right with the viewers. It kind of makes Steven seem that much more of a jerk, considering his hyper-focus on maintaining a happily ever after kind of pushed Spinel to the events of the third act anyways. But for him to constantly swing at Spinel, constantly wiping away all of her memories, the fandom would have labeled Steven as public enemy number 1. So in that regard, I'm glad the story of the film was altered. Spinel's injector was also a later addition to the film. Originally, she was just going to arrive in her own ship, but ultimately the Crewniverse felt that the gems losing their memories wasn't high enough of stakes for a movie, that it wouldn't be Steven Universe without a looming threat. So not only did they revise the impending doom of Spinel's tortured form, but they added the injector for there to be a sense of Steven and the crystal gems being forced into a race against time. For some people, that may bring some clarity to the feelings of the injector being forced into the film and having no payoff. A critique I do understand, but I do think the addition of the injector helped flesh out Spinel's story, because without the injector, Steven wouldn't have had a reason to recover Spinel's memories in the first place. And Steven would not have learned the lesson of happily ever after not existing wondering if he didn't see firsthand how toxic that mentality can be towards other people. So much love and care went into Spinel, so it's no wonder she helped the movie be such a hit. Why she allured so many new fans into the series. And I can't wait to see what they do with her in the future. But as always, these are just my thoughts and I want to hear yours. What do you think? How do you feel about Spinel's early concepts? Or that Steven was going to constantly reset her in the earlier drafts of the film? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at ARTWITHKODA. We're also on Instagram. Special thanks to ARTWITHKODA for creating an awesome thumbnail. For more of his wonderful art, you can find him on Tumblr and Instagram at ARTWITHKODA, and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Link down below in the description. Help Learn to Grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please do a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. ARTWITHKODA signing out.